Welcome to the Modern Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast, episode 96. I'm Evan.
And I'm Ja.
And it's our basketball podcast where we recap, break down, and analyze players and teams from previous games from the previous day. How are you this Wednesday, Ja?
I feel refreshed, energized.
You feel refreshed. Any news in your life?
I had a headache.
You had a headache? Anything else?
No, it took on. And I kind of transferred from one place to the other.
Oh, transfer, so like a new job.
Yeah. New job. No more working with animals, man. I'm still gonna be working with animals. So they're just called human beings. That's it. But but outside of that, nothing.
That was a good one. Where you work at now?
Don't worry about that.
That if anyone knows, it has to be worse than this one.
No, it's not. I swear, I promise it's not. It's more of a challenge, but it's not worse. I swear it's not worse.
It's not worse.
It's just that if I say it, then people are going to say, if you think about the distance from my last job compared to where I got to go to my new job, it's just like people will not like it. That's the reason why I don't want to bring it up.
In Brooklyn?
Yeah.
You going to Brooklyn? Look at this traitor.
Hey man, Kyrie, KD, I'm pulling up. You already know.
Listen, man, you don't want to see them. They don't want to see you.
Okay, they don't want to see me. I want to see them. I want to see Kyrie.
You sure? It's gonna be worse than Michael Rappaport.
Snake. Let me stop.
All right, moving on. I hope everyone's having a good day. I hope everyone will have a good day. Much discussed in that basketball world around the association from last night. So let's get into it first. Starting off with the Milwaukee Bucks going up against the Golden State Warriors. The Milwaukee Bucks played without their star player, superstar, MVP back-to-back, Giannis. But that did not stop them as they still had themselves a great game, especially in that first half. Battling back and forth with the Warriors. It really started to pick it up, the Bucks, in that third quarter, in that second half, where they just went on started to pick it up the pace, started to went on their own run, started to closing out this game, led by Middleton, Holiday. Of course, you know, those two guys had to step up in the absence of Giannis. Also got some good bench production. Jeff Teague, Giannis's brother. I mean, for a second, if you blink really quickly, that might be Giannis. Like, he might fool you. Like, similar height, similar length, similar intensity. What?
Yeah, he has a more stronger build, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, he does. He does have a stronger build, and when he dunks, it kind of looks like Giannis. I'm not gonna lie, especially with the Antetokounmpo on his back. But they got a lot of bench production. But the Warriors were still battling, even when it looked like this game was over with about 2 minutes left, and the Warriors were down. But I haven't mentioned the Warriors a lot because I want to save it for here. And now let's get into the Warriors. Stephen Curry was on fire, a flamethrower. My goodness. And he finished with 41 on the night, hit some big buckets down the stretch. And he not only did he have it going down the stretch, also big buckets by Kent Bazemore, big buckets by Andrew Wiggins. Who else? Big buckets by
Kelly
Oubre. Yes, Kelly Oubre. Also Wiseman had himself a good night, especially in that first half. Him and Curry really helped that Warriors team stay within the battle with the Bucks. But yeah, it looked like the Bucks had this game, and the Warriors just stuck around, and they started hitting big shots, started hitting good, started getting timely stops.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, after all these big shots, they have this lead.
Yeah.
But the Bucks, they try to take it back with a holiday layup. And after a foul call on Oubre hits 2 free throws to give them a lead. And the Warriors basically tighten up defensively on that final possession.
Yeah.
Forcing a block by Wiggins on Middleton and a block on Pat Connaughton, who tried to get the putback. And as a result, the time does run out, and the Warriors do get that late comeback win against the Bucks.
Yeah, man, that was a really great game down the stretch right there.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about the Bucks real quick for a second, because this should be honest here, man. I feel like even if you take out Giannis out the equation, the Bucks are a playoff team, especially playing in that Eastern Conference. You have again a really, really talented guard. There you go. You see, look at you got Drew and you got Middleton, and then you have the fact that you have a good core system of in guys that know their role, and Brooke. The other Giannis, let me stop. Not the other Giannis, but like I know what I mean. And all these shooters around, I feel like when you got that with good coaching, this Bucks team could, if with no Giannis, they could be like in the middle of the of the Eastern Conference, the middle to the bottom of the playoff teams. Because they've been playing that good as of recently. We saw what they did. Okay, we can't even bring them up because they played against the Kings, and that's more of a
But if they would have got this win, this would have been a better win for them.
Exactly.
But they kind of fell apart late.
Yes, they did.
I mean, they were up 10 late in that fourth quarter, and they couldn't get stops when they needed to, and they couldn't get shots when they needed to.
Yeah, that's more of a cold spell in a way, and also the fact of just not knowing what to do under pressure when you have to go against somebody like a Curry.
Yeah. Now Curry was hot the entire night. I mean, geez.
Yeah, and that goes to show you. So now switching to the Warriors side. Now we talked about this on and off the record, but the impact of Stephen Curry, you can see what happens when, those certain players that are so special that you can see the impact that they have on and off their team when they're not playing, when they are playing. You clearly see it. When the Warriors, when they're playing without him, there will be games in which they will have their with the shine bright, but majority of the time they will really do really horribly. No disrespect. And now when you see him on the floor, you can see how the whole course of the game just changes. It just, what would you like to say? I'll probably be nice with this, but just in 2 minutes, probably like 30 seconds, he could change the course of the game. So that's how legendary Stephen Curry is, in my opinion, and how better he makes everyone around him.
No, yeah, I'm 100% agree with you. The Warriors are damn near terrible without him on the court. And then when he is on the court, you see he gives them a winning chance with his play. It's incredible what Steph Curry can do.
Well, of course, you see how bad they are. Look at the moment he came off, 53 by dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's pretty much. That's basically yeah. That's basically all there is to it. And yes, as a result, the Warriors do get the comeback, late surge in that fourth quarter, beating the Giannis-less Milwaukee Bucks. All right, going on to the earlier game of the night. The Philadelphia 76ers going up against the Boston Celtics. And this was a good game, and Embiid did play, and boy, was he dominant. Besides him taking threes, he was getting me upset in that first half, just shooting, because he was 0-4, and he still kept trying to shoot. But nonetheless, still had himself a good first half, and that second quarter, the Sixers really just went on a big run. The Celtics kind of silenced that a little bit towards the end of that second quarter, but they were already up double digits in that second quarter. Embiid, as I mentioned, Danny Green was hot as well. He's been having himself a good year. That's a great pickup for the Sixers. Yeah, really great pickup for the Sixers, and he's been playing really well for them. And that really that run that they had in the second quarter really continued into that third quarter as well. I mean, M.B started becoming more dominant, started taking less threes. Simmons, Danny Green. I mean, the whole squad was just really performing, really outperforming the Celtics team. They also played great defense on the Celtics. Literally trying to do everything they can to get the ball out of Tatum, Walker, and Brown's hands, or not force them to the line or get into their sweet spots, get into their comfortable positions or attacking the basket. And as a result, that final score kind of is a liar because it showed that the Celtics had a chance or the Celtics was close, but then it fell apart in the end. No, this game really ended in that I guess start of the fourth.
Yeah.
Really. It just they made it look a little more professional.
Yeah, they just added on points just to make it seem as if it was a closer game than what
Yeah. This was a 10-point loss by the Sixers, but this really felt like a blowout. 10 points lost by the Celtics, but this really felt like a blowout.
Yeah. Philadelphia, the moment that second quarter hit, in my opinion, I felt like they just started to get it going, especially again with their newfound structure and system, and especially with Doc Rivers coaching them at the helm. You got shooters, and then you got Embiid, and you got Simmons. I feel like as long as you utilize that well, play great defense, and the fact that what you just said, play great defense, stay limited. The moment you take away those Celtic stars, the Celtics, no disrespect, it's going to take them a while to get on the roll if their stars are not going. And that's basically what the Sixers done. The Sixers basically dismantled the Celtics offense on the defensive end, obviously. And they just had it clicking and going from all cylinders. And Embiid, Curry, Green, and then you got Simmons running the playmaking priorities or whatsoever. Yeah. And it becomes easy from that point. And they basically went away with it.
Yeah. It's so crazy to see how the difference between these two teams coming off of last year, both completely different. One for the better, one for the worse. What?
I'm just saying. You said.
I mean, I don't know. It's really disappointing watching the Celtics team play. They are 25-26. Yes, 25-26.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Look, man.
I don't know what I mean, but
I want to say, I don't want to make up the excuse, but I got to be honest. The whole change up for the landscape of this season because of, unfortunate mishaps happened. And there has been times where they were set back because of it. But that makes no excuse. You still have most of your players. You added on new players, but you still have most of your players from last season there, even though you traded away one after he missed the game winner. But you still have most of your players that there from last season. And of course, I know Marcus Smart was out with injuries and stuff like that. But
they've been back. They've been back. They've been playing healthy for the most part recently.
Yeah. But it makes no excuse. You're too good, too talented. You have a great coach in Brad Stevens. This is no excuse the fact that you guys are at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Well, they're not at the bottom, obviously, but they're fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're fighting. Fighting? The Boston Celtics fighting for a playoff shot? They should be fighting for a championship.
Exactly.
And this is a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals. You mentioned it a few podcasts ago. 3 out of 4 times in the past 4 seasons.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, disappointing. Really disappointing how the Celtics been playing.
Yeah.
Still time left though.
Yeah, it's still a lot of time left. But look, they got teams. No disrespect to these teams, but they got a team like Charlotte that's just outplaying them, doing way better than them.
Well, I mean, they just blew out Charlotte the other day.
Yeah, they blew out Charlotte the other day, but that's not what the whole season is showing us.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. 25-26, but hopefully those two guys and their teams can pick it up for this final stretch in the season, or these last month in the season.
Yeah.
Last 2 months. But all right. few other games happening around the league besides those two. Anything that you like to go over? Anything that you saw around the league? Any player performances? Anything like that nature?
First game I like to talk about is the Blazers. I said the Blazers. The Heat versus the Grizzlies. And let's just say that it started off well for Miami in the beginning. Adebayo had it going and stuff like that, but the Grizzlies just took over this game just from start to finish. And you talk about it. Xavier Tillman, Desmond Bain or Mason. Oh man, I forgot his last name.
Desmond Bain. You're right.
Yeah, Desmond Bain. Jonas Valanciunas. Like the Grizzlies just had it going on both ends. Kyle Anderson. Like
Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks. Like they had it going from both ends. But when you look at their offensive strategy, they played in the paint and then he brought it outside from the three whenever they had an opportunity. And they just basically blew this Heat team out.
Impressive win by this Grizzlies team. Really impressive. I love how they play. I'm a believer in this Grizzlies team and the system that they have going and the players. What?
I believe that's your sleeper team or your surprise team.
My surprise team. Yes, that is my surprise team. And Jaren Jackson Jr. should be coming back very, very soon.
Yeah.
So it's a deadly time. Just a quick note, in that game, when the Grizzlies were up by 19 with 2 minutes left, John Morant did get hurt. We don't know how serious it is. I don't think it's that serious. Might miss a few games, but just a little injury note on him. 1, why is he in the game? 2, hopefully he's fine. Hopefully he's not serious. He should be able to get back as soon as possible.
Yeah. I'm not going to answer the question to why he was still in the game because I do not know what they were thinking. But, yeah, let's hope he gets back.
Yeah, come on, man. Nobody's seen what happened in 2012 with Derrick Rose.
Exactly. You saw what happened to athletic point guards, talented point guards before. God forbid it does not go well.
Yep. All right. Next game.
The next game I like to talk about is the Blazers versus the Clippers. And man, did the Clippers had it going. They had it going in that first half from defense to offense. Three. What happened?
Cancun
on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cancun. PG had it going early. He had it going real early, especially from the 3-point line. He was just balling out, scoring, getting into the paint. And then I basically felt like offensively, he's the main reason to why this Clippers played so well. Like, everybody had it going with him being their lead man. And the Clippers basically were up by a bunch with a pretty comfortable lead. I could say a more satisfying lead than ever. And yet, don't get me wrong, let's not count them out. The Blazers basically started making a little comeback within that second to third quarter, led by CJ and Norman Powell, who is their new quiet pickup. And he had a really good game on his end.
Mm-hmm.
But even though they were able to bring it back in single digits, the Clippers once again did what the Clippers do, and they was basically blowing them out once again. The moment the fourth quarter hit, and they just ran away with it. Just ran right off with it.
Yep. And this Clippers defense, or rather the lack of offense from one specific player, Damian Lillard was really struggling. Struggling. He had a tough night last night. Only had 11 points. I believe he went 2-14 on the field. And, he couldn't really get in rhythm. Got a credit to he was just missing shots that he usually makes. Also, the Clippers defense. We know they can tighten up when they want to. You know how great they can be defensively.
Yeah, I say this. I feel like they, ever since that Cancun strategy from us in the bubble, they really found, and that whole, I think all that whole, I'm not saying that it's a factor or anything, but that whole personal situation of what happened off the court with that conversation and stuff, I feel like the Clippers had tried to find some kind of defensive strategy to limit Lillard because they did this early in the season. I believe even though he had a 20-point game against them, they did that and he mainly got his points at the free throw line. They said rather than him go off on us, I'd rather him just get whatever he gets and get it at the free throw line. Because the Clippers defense has really been finding strategic ways to hound him, whether that's doubling, whether that is trying to shadow him off. Because Damian Lillard is the engine to this offense of this Blazers team. I know they got CJ and they got a lot of other firepower offensively, of course, but of course we all know who Damian Lillard is.
Yes.
And you can see that the Clippers been doing that really well since in the season when it comes to playing against the Blazers.
I feel like Clippers, when on certain players, they can do a really good job at tightening up and locking them down for a portion of the game or sometimes the entirety of the game.
Exactly.
And that's what they did last night to Damian Lillard. And as a result, the Clippers were able to take the win in convincing fashion. But all right, real quick, another injury update or under injury note. Indiana Pacers, Miles Turner, one of the candidates for Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best shot blockers in this league. He seemed to have gotten hurt as well. He left the game. I don't believe he didn't return.
Yeah.
But we don't know how serious it is. Hopefully he's fine. Hopefully he's not serious. Because the Pacers need everybody. Because they got blown out by the Bulls in a game in which them and the Bulls are close within the standings. Pacers trying to fight into playoff games. Yeah. They have been playing bad basketball.
Which is really disappointing because they got talented players and they started off the season so well. I believe they were top four. Well, not top four. I believe they were at least
top five.
Five in the playoffs earlier this season. I don't know where the drop off came from, what happened or whatsoever. And I don't understand. Karis LeVert had that situation, but let's just say Karis LeVert is progressing because he hasn't been playing well since coming to this Pacers team, but he's getting better and better each and every game.
Yes, he is. Sorry, that's what I'm
gonna say. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, but the moment he finds his stride, trust me, I feel like this Indiana, it's probably gonna be probably sooner than later, but this Indiana team is gonna be real dangerous the moment Karis LeVert finally finds his stride right next to Brogdon and all these other guys on the team.
Well, I mean, yeah, he had a 20-point night last night against the Bulls, but to no avail.
Yeah.
They really need Miles Turner. They really need a lot of players. Even though Sabonis didn't play for them last night, which can probably contribute to why they got blown out by the Bulls. When he's been playing, they haven't been playing well.
Yeah.
Them just as a team haven't been playing well.
Yeah.
Since around the All-Star break. I don't know if you remember if it was before or after. But
I think it was a little bit before. It was a little bit before, and then they transferred into like right after, and then
we'll keep an eye on Indiana. We'll see how they can fix it or if they will fix it.
They need Reggie. Sorry.
Why? So he can just push off? I'm a Knicks fan at the end of the day. Sorry. Well, all right. It is prediction time for tonight's set of games. I believe more games than last night and the previous 2 nights. So let's get into it first, starting off with the Indiana Pacers going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We got.
I'm going to still choose Indiana with this one.
And I'm going to choose Minnesota. D-Lo. The Wizards going up against the Orlando Magic.
Orlando.
And it's because Bradley Beal's not playing. I'm not gonna lie, I just like Orlando.
Yeah, to be honest.
Like I think they can just pull out this win.
And then the way Orlando's been playing, they looking way better than what the Wizards got. And mind you, the Wizards got Westbrook. So that's
Yeah,
a
even in losses, Orlando looked well. Besides the 40-point blowout they had against the Jazz, even in losses, the Magic just look
more like a tougher team.
Even though the Wizards have better talent.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, the New York Knicks going up against the Boston Celtics, two teams that both need a win in terms of the play-in and playoffs.
Underdog Knicks.
Underdog. I mean, last time they played, they beat them by 30. So
I remember that.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I got the Knicks. The first primetime game of the night, ESPN 7:30. The New Orleans Pelicans going up against the Brooklyn Nets, and it seems like Kevin Durant will play tonight.
If that's the case, I got the Nets. Well, I still have the Nets regardless, but if that's the case, I most definitely got the Nets.
Yeah, I got the Nets as well. The Dallas Mavericks going up against the Houston Rockets.
The Mavs.
The Mavs.
No, matter of fact, the Rockets. Let me stop.
Listen, if I could predict this is how bad it is in Houston right now. If I could predict the future, and in the future I saw Houston winning, I'll still pick the Mavericks. That's how little faith I have in this team. Not because their players suck or something. They have a lot of talent. Kelly Olynyk's been playing really well since he got there. But they just can't get it together as a unit.
Exactly.
I know it's a mix of injuries, but they lost 26 out of the last 28 games, I believe. So
yeah, you said it there. This is a weird situation. I never saw a team with so much talent do this poorly. I know we probably had teams like that in the past. Don't get me wrong, but not at this. Not at this point. Not at the point in which you could barely edge out. As of recently, they've been coming closer in which they had an opportunity to win certain games. Recently against Phoenix, and I believe who did they play before? I gotta look back at their schedule, but it's just they had opportunities as recently in which they had an opportunity to win games. They haven't getting blown out like they have been the last time, or blowing big time leads and getting blown out themselves within the game.
They played Boston and the Nets previously.
Yeah. So and they kept up with them. They had a lead on the Nets until they blew that. And I believe Boston just blew them out the water, I believe. I could be wrong about that. I don't remember.
I think so, yeah. I think Boston just beat them.
Yeah, but it's just it's just a team. This team's so talented. And I know you got hit with a lot of things so rough, but it's just at the same time, it's just man, I don't know. They need a fresh start. I feel like we just got to wait until next season, man. Just give up on this season for them and just wait until next season. And I mean that with all due respect to Coach Silas, who has been really trying his best with this team.
Yeah. Moving on from that, the Memphis Grizzlies going up against the Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta.
Memphis. The Charlotte Hornets going up against the OKC Thunder.
Charlotte.
The Spurs going up against the Denver Nuggets.
Denver.
And lastly, the last game of the night and the second game of the doubleheader on ESPN, 10 o'clock. It is the 1 and the 2 in the Western Conference. The Utah Jazz going up against the Phoenix Suns. Who do you have? You have the Jazz. And I have the Suns. It should be a really entertaining, fun, good game.
Yeah, offensively. Defensively, we know who got it, though.
The Jazz got it, yeah. I think the Suns can be good defensively down the stretch here and there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the Jazz are a better defensive team. But, all right. I think it's time to wrap things up. Any final thoughts?
It was really good to see Isaiah Thomas back on the court.
Yes. Got to mention that. Yes, Isaiah Thomas Also, Boogie
Yeah,
played for the Boogie played for the Clippers. He only played like 4 minutes, but he had 4 points in that win against the Trailblazers. And Isaiah Thomas came in, got to a pretty hot start. Got out 8 points, finished with 10 points in the game. Hopefully he stays on the team. Hopefully they sign him to the rest of the season.
please do.
He's an NBA caliber player. It's kind of, it kind of hurts not seeing him
Yeah,
on the NBA team.
Exactly. It kind of hurts what happened to him right after his Celtics days. Because, again, when he was on the Celtics, Sacramento, and Suns, we know what kind of player he was. We know what kind of player it was. To see that drop off because of situations that was out of his favor, that was not in his favor, that was out of his control, was real unfair. So to see him back on the court felt good.
Yeah, it was. Even though they lost to that man, or those two guys, and that team in a blowout when the Hawks took over in that third quarter. But yeah, still nice to see Isaiah Thomas back on the court playing NBA basketball. All right, and with that being said, thank you guys for watching today's podcast. Make sure you tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
And also follow IG down in the description below.
And once again, I'm Evan.
And I'm Ja.
And this was Mind the Basketball podcast.